you said, like, if you weren't ready, the opportunity wouldn't present itself. And how often are we saying, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready yet. I don't know enough yet. I'm not experienced enough yet. Like, it's bringing up emotion. So obviously we're hitting on something. These all turn into my own coaching, by the way. That's why I have people on my show. So
Free
it's a
coaching.
bonus coaching call for me. But like, seriously, that's it. Just like, what if it gets to be that simple of, if you're feeling that pull of, you know what, this doesn't feel in alignment anymore for whatever reason. It doesn't even have to be a reason. It's just, you get that download, you get that spiritual inspiration, that idea, whatever it is. And what if it really is like, okay, well, if it's, I mean, I've heard that before. If it's like, if the vision is in you, it's for you, right? Like,
Right,
it wouldn't be an idea for you if it wasn't meant for you. So
right.
what if we stop making it so complicated and getting stuck in that pattern, stuck in that cycle where, okay, you know what? This was an amazing part of my life. It got me here. I am so grateful for that. And it's okay to be complete. And now it's time to move on to the next thing. And I just trust, which again, that's a big word that I've been working on as well with you, of it's meant for me. So it wouldn't present itself if I weren't ready for it, instead of what we do, which is that loop.
Loop
So
sabotaging and yeah, that whole trust, that listening to the inner, because people are like, well, how do you get that? Because so many people
how do you know?
rely on external validation
Mm-hmm.
for what they should do. Should, there's the word should. Whenever I hear should in different contexts of like should, they're listening to an external, they're giving their power away. They want to
Mm-hmm.
be driven by, tell me what to do outside of me. And the whole thing is, you're here to learn you. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to tell you how to think. I want to teach you how to think, to trust yourself. And so that you know what's best for you. Is outside counsel helpful? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But we know we don't take advice from anyone who's not doing the path that we would want. Right. So even who you share this with. And I think that's important of knowing who you are. We're touching a lot on those values because when you know what is important to you at the deepest level, like I said, it was easy for me to, I think, have that completion, that aha, because I had been living so much in alignment with it and I've been reflecting on them. And it's something that's a part of my daily life and way of being, kind of like brushing your teeth. It's just my way
Right.
of being that I am. And so, and this can be for anybody. Anybody can do this when they know that, when they know what's important to them. So yeah, just trusting and be able to go, okay, isn't that a much, I don't know, easier, like, doesn't it feel better to do it that way than to live in
Even,
chaos? It's almost like we create chaos and drama for no reason?
oh, well, yes, also guilty. And like, I own my stuff, like, of course. And so I think that that's, even you just saying that, okay, the thought will come back to me. I was like, it just came up for a second where I was like, oh my goodness, that's what it was. It's empowering. Like,
Mm,
I'm complete. I want to be in alignment with my values. I want to live in pure alignment, what that means to me, what's important to me. That is an empowering way to make decisions, which is the opposite of what we're programmed and hardwired as humans, which is very disempowering. And I'd love to like hear you talk a little bit about that too, because I know that's something we've been working on together, of like, what kind of questions are you asking? And again, we are human. We are hardwired to focus on the negative and what we don't want and what's not working, and all like that, getting stuck in that loop, and something must be wrong with me. I need to fix it. Like, this can't be the answer. Like, what are you talking about? I can't just like blow all this up and go some in a completely different direction. What are people going to think? Like, all this stuff, as opposed to the way you just explained it. It was like, oh, that's such an empowering way to look at it, as opposed to all the opposite stuff we get ourselves stuck in. So any tips or advice of like how we even know what our values are and how you can kind of check in with yourself? You said you check in all the time. This isn't a one and done thing. So
right.
Anything else you want to share about that? Because I feel like I mean, that's the whole point, these empowerment tools, right? It's having tools that you can use to get us out of that disempowering place.
Yeah, there's a couple things that people can do, and it's focusing again on the positive. A lot of times we can easily identify with what we don't want, what's
Mhm.
not working for us. And I love that list. Write that list out. What's not working,
Mhm.
and get very clear on that. Then what's the opposite? Then write it in the positive. What do you want then? And so then those are more positive things to move towards. You want to be focusing, because if you keep focusing on what you don't want, you're going to create more of what you don't want,
Yeah.
right? Don't think of a blue tree. Don't do it. You're going to think of a blue tree, right? So
Mhm.
you're going to install that. So focusing on what you do want. And I love what you said a moment ago, asking great questions. So even throughout the day, at the end of your day or the end of your week, you can reflect. Here's where people learn. Let me talk about learning. You get some information. You're all getting some information now. Then you have an experience applying that information. Then you need to reflect on it. What did you learn? Here's the questions. What did I learn from that experience? What worked well from that experience? Because you want to know what worked well so you continue to do that. What
Right.
didn't work so well? There is so much value in quote unquote failure. What didn't work well? You know what? How I said that, and I could have done this. Okay, cool. Well, what will you do next time? Allows you to actually create the neural pathway to set up for success so you can be more in alignment. So you can take that even with your values. Let's say growth or leadership is at the top, and you're like, cool, this past week, how did growth show up in my career for me? Was it on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how was it being fulfilled? Oh, it was only like a 6 or 7. Cool. What actions can I take? This is you being more intentional and purposeful with
Mhm.
prioritizing your time and your tasks with your behavior so that you're living in your most biggest, fullest potential of what's important to you, and then delegate everything else. Right. So just that reflection piece is super important for you to do. And then this is where you get creative. Okay, that was only 6. Well, what can I do that will allow me to express a full 10? Is there anything that I need to delegate? Is there something that, what lights me up? We're talking about you love doing these podcasts. Cool.
Yeah.
Some of the other stuff that you're not into, delegate it. So that
Mhm.
your time in your day is filled with the activities that light you up and bring you joy. Joy is the key. When you are in alignment with knowing your values, being intentional, you have to take responsibility. It's not going to just happen. You got to take responsibility and look
Mhm.
and declare it and make those choices. And I guarantee you do. You start to be like, all right. And then what happens is you feel in flow. Yeah.
Would you say that is kind of that people chasing like happiness? I want to be happier. I want more joy in my life. Or maybe I'm not feeling that way right now. Is that where values come back in again? Because maybe you're not fulfilling it the way that you thought, or it's not being fulfilled in the way that you thought it would.
Correct. There's knowing even what they are and reflecting on it can give you that opportunity. Because what happens, I'll start here, is sometimes we fall into like the trance, right? We wake up, we eat breakfast, maybe we do a workout, we go to work, we come home, we make dinner, put the kids to bed, whatever, watch TV, go to bed, and we do it all over again. And then people are like, I don't have any joy in my life. Like they're just checking off the box, they're grinding through it, and they're just
Mhm.
excited to get to bed, But then I got to wake up and do it all over again. And we're chasing happiness, we're chasing joy, but whose joy are you chasing?
Mm.
Whose is it? How do you know? And I think that's the bigger part for a lot of people when you do this work is I don't want to do what what's magazine? I don't even look at magazines that Shape magazine tells me I should, or even what Oprah says I should, who I respect
Mhm.
greatly. I
Of
want to
course.
know what is right for me. And I think that's such a key part is a lot of people were very distracted with the bells and the whistles and the outsides and social media, what other people are doing. And that comparison is the thief of our joy. We've heard that quote before. And we want
Mhm.
to know, I think some people, it takes a lot to want to sit with yourself and figure out what that is. But when you do and you create that life and you reflect, like I said, you reflect on it, like, is this actually bringing me joy? But then you have to be responsible to do something about it.
Mm.
Do you need to put boundaries in your life?
Yeah.
Do you need to remove some people? Do you need to voice your boundaries? To really own your time and your environment and your energy. That there's another component to it. And yes, when you do, and you have that, and you know what's in life, because at the end of this life,
Mm.
going out to the very end of your timeline in the future, and you're looking back and reflecting on your life, what are you going to say and be grateful for? That you
Mhm.
live by other people's rules, or you weren't in alignment, or I'm not gonna shine because I'm afraid other people on social media will, say negative things about me. So I'm gonna stay down here. But if that's part of your purpose and fulfillment is to educate and share, there's just so many beautiful things that you can do with this.